how to reconstitute ballistics gel. All the other videos I've seen on how to do this really kind of suck, so I'm just going to show you how to do it nice, quick, and easy. There are two main ways you can do it. The way that I prefer is to melt it directly in the mold, and the reason I prefer that is because then you don't get any bubbles in the end. The only downside is you have to cut out all the lead before putting it in the mold, or else you'll have lead and other crap in there, so you have to remove it. The other way is if you have a ton of like birdshot or little BBs that you just don't want to cut out, you can melt it directly in here and then carefully pour it into the mold and then let it cool. However, when you pour it, you will get bubbles in there. It's not overly bad. So this one, you can kind of see all those bubbles in there. That's from me pouring it. If you don't have a ton of lead, do it in the mold. I like to get a dedicated knife. You don't have to cut it up into a ton of small pieces. So we're really just gonna cut it up into main chunks and stick it in the mold, almost like how you see it here. Our goal is to get out the main pieces of lead. And by cutting it up, it'll allow us to stir it a little bit. But if you cut up into a lot of little pieces, it'll just form back in one glob when you put it in there anyway, as it's melting, so that doesn't really matter. When you're cutting it, there will be a lot of friction on the knife. So if you can kind of hold it, pull it to the side and cut, then you can cut further into the gel. Okay, so this one, I'm just trying to get some of these lead flakes out, like that guy right there. You don't have to, they'll sink to the bottom and then they can just be on the very end bottom of your thing. It's not that big a deal, but if you want it cleaner, get those out. Also try to keep these from getting dusty, and if they do get dusty or something like in a shop, go ahead and wash them off and let them dry. Their website on Clear Ballistics says to use 770 NC release. However, I found that stuff isn't manufactured in small quantities, or it was hard to find unless you want to buy 10 gallons. So they just said any silicone like mold release will work. So if you haven't used your mold before, you want to put on a decent layer. If you have used it, then just honestly a quick little coat all around the edge and on the bottom is going to be plenty. Okay, so as far as placing your gel in the mold, I honestly, if you can kind of remember how you chopped it up, I like to go ahead and place it in the way that it was cut up. What you don't want is you don't want anything kind of touching around this outer edge, or else when it melts, it'll leak over, but this will just all melt down into the mold. Okay, now as far as melting it down, I like to use one of these turkey roasters out in the garage because it does get a little smoky, and then if you do it inside, you might set off fire alarms and your family members won't appreciate it. You can use your regular oven, but like I said, you know, it's going to smoke up a little bit, so do it in the summer when you open a window. Now on this, you're going to want to go for about 250 degrees Fahrenheit. Now in an oven, that's what I would do. On this, because it's not in direct contact with the side, I actually usually go just a titch higher than that, and I found that this does not break 250 degrees Fahrenheit even over the course of approximately 4 hours is how long this is going to take. Your rates in miles may vary, so you're going to want to keep an eye on it the first time you do it. So I actually have this on a smart outlet, so it'll be going for 4 hours, and then I will show you what it looks like when it's all done and how to quickly get it out. Okay, so when you're reconstituting the ballistics gel, you're gonna be tempted to check it really frequently. Try to avoid that. I usually let it go for about 2 to 3 hours before I even look at it. So this has been going for 3 hours, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so you can see, like, even the places that I cut it, like, it honestly forms back into one mass chunk. That's why I don't really worry about cutting it a whole lot before. Okay, so once it's done like this, then we're just gonna let it sit there and cool off. I don't even move it. I let it cool off right there because the real ballistics gel will solidify at room temperature. Okay, so this is what it looks like when it's all done. You can see some bubbles on the end, and it's not, there's some floaties in there because this one's been done a couple times and dirty, but other than that, it's pretty clear. Okay, to get this out of the mold, I like to break the seal along the edge, and you can kind of see how that breaks it just a little bit. So I'm gonna break it. You can wear gloves for this to avoid fingerprints. I usually do, but then you're gonna pull down on the top and you can get a little gap in there. And then you're gonna take some compressed air, stick the nozzle in there, and tilt this thing at an angle while blasting air in there. And then it comes out like that. And then usually from this point, you can just pull it out. Okay, and there you go. There's your ballistics gel. Reconstituted, ready to go shoot again. Okay guys, that's pretty much it. If you have any other tips, put it in the comment section below. As always guys, thanks for watching. See you next time.